Hey guys, my name is Jon Brothers. I am one of the pastors at a church in Southwest Florida, and I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about my experience with the fatherless, and just basically my point of view, and kind of just sharing with you maybe some encouragement today, and maybe just some tips as to I guess really a point of view that you can take to see God's hand in all of it. And I just want to share a little bit. I had a great dad. My dad was a pastor for 40 years. All he ever did was support me. I can remember him driving, across country to go buy me football gloves. Like, he was that kind of dad. He would do whatever it takes to do what I needed. But then, as a minister, I've been in youth ministry and in church ministry for 10 years. God's brought just lots of different home situations and different people into my life to kind of open my eyes and give me a different perspective. The first of those that really pops out of my head is my wife and I fostered 5 kids for a year. And these were kids that had come into my youth group. We were not looking to foster. They just kind of, we actually basically learned to love this teenage guy that was the oldest of all the siblings, and decided that it was worth bringing everybody in just so that we would have the opportunity to be a part of his life. And God gave me the opportunity to really be the dad for those kids for a year. And I learned through that there is no, I want to be careful how I say this, but there's no magic potion or mystic reason why me having blood relation to you makes me a better father or a worse father. So, for example, I've got 3 daughters of my own, and then I had those 5 foster kids, and I was the same dad to all 8 of those kids, regardless of whether they were my kids because they were birthed to me, or because they were my kids because I chose for them to be my kids. Long story short, God used that time to see all of those kids grow in the Lord. And we ended up not being able to adopt them, which was our initial intent. And they ended up going, all of them except one, went to Christian families and are still serving God today, still doing what God wants them to do. And the reason I tell you that is because I believe that God sovereignly put me in their lives to be an influence. Not only were those kids, as a youth pastor, I've had multiple kids that were either adopted or fatherless or orphans altogether, and the same thing's been true, is that God's given me the opportunity to be a part of their lives, not because I'm special. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm some big deal. I don't matter. I'm not a big deal at all, but it's been a privilege that God's given me to be a part of those kids' lives. And the part where I want to encourage you is I could only be a part of those kids' lives because they allowed me to be a part of their lives. I could only mentor them. Really, the way that I think about it, the only way, I only had as much influence as they allowed me to have. There was no blood relative, that I had no real authority over them. It was just they chose to come to me, to be mentored, to be encouraged, to be taught, to be trained, and all those things. I couldn't do that unless that they opened themselves up to me that way. And so my encouragement to you is this: the same way that those kids needed a not necessarily a dad, but needed a mentor, needed someone to fill that void in their lives, to be just to show this is how a man lives, this is how a Christian lives, this is how we are called to live. I need that the same way. My dad passed away last May, so we're pushing a year now, and it has really opened my eyes to see how I have the same opportunity. God brings people into my life that He intends for me to learn from, He intends for me to grow from, and really, I can honestly miss the boat by choosing not to let them be a part of my life, if that makes sense. And so my encouragement, my exhortation today, my challenge for you today is this: as God brings people into your life, some of them are not going to be just like you. I'm an old, bald, fat guy. So I was not like anything like any of the kids that I was a mentor in their life, but they still opened up to my friendship and to my love, and I was able to be a part of their lives. God's going to bring people into your life that you think, man, I got nothing in common with this guy. I got no reason to listen to this lady. But let me tell you, allow yourself to be influenced by the people that God brings into your life. He's sovereign. He brought them there. There's a purpose for them in your life. And I don't want you to miss that. As God gives you people into your life, the Bible tells us this: where there is no guidance, the people fail, the people fall. But in the abundance of counselors, there's victory. In other words, when I don't have anybody that's kind of feeding into me, I'm going to fall. I'm going to fail. I'm going to mess up. And you know what? You're still going to mess up when you got mentors, but there's victory in the abundance of counselors. I encourage you guys today to be looking, be thinking, be praying about who God's brought into your life that can influence you to be who He's called you to be. Love you guys.